International Day to me is just like, many holidays that we have that really just have to pinpoint and use that day to just appreciate, especially specific groups of people that make, the world go round. When we have Mother's Day, Father's Day, things like that. But I think Women's International Day is definitely something that's so important to have to celebrate, because I feel like it's a day where we can set aside to both celebrate the women who are accomplishing so many things around the world, but also it gives us an opportunity to learn about the different women around the world and everything that they're accomplishing in their everyday lives. So for me, it's both a day of celebration and a day of learning, Women's International Day.
International Women's Day to me means a day to acknowledge all the work and the history that women have made and contributed to our countries, but more importantly, also a day to acknowledge that there are many young girls who are coming up that need to hear this amazing work that's been done by women that have come before them, but also to show that they're able and capable of making history as well. The steps I'm taking towards a more sustainable future is always encouraging every woman, and especially young girl that I encounter, to always dream big, go against the status quo, even if it means challenging the grain. And more importantly, always think above, right? There's going to be some times in life where things may seem as like they're hard, but always have the understanding that it gets better. Therefore, we shouldn't let what society has told us is only for men keep us down.
So progress that I think I've seen when it comes to women and gender equality has definitely been in the workplace. Specifically for me at the company that I work at, it is a pretty young company with a pretty young workforce. So, the CEOs and the leadership are very open about there being no pay gap. So I know that me and my male counterparts are making the same amount of money, and the company is very transparent about that.
I felt the most powerful and privileged definitely during the birth of my two daughters. I think God has given us the privilege as women to birth generations after generation, and as a woman, that's something that a man can never do. But more importantly, after the birth of both my daughters, I've always had like some extra per se in me, or some extra energy in me that pushes me to want to do more, because I know for a fact the more I can do for myself, the more I'll also be doing for them and their generations.
That's actually a great question. As a woman, I feel the most powerful when I'm surrounded by other women. And I say that because it's almost like there's just a transitory effect. We just feed off of each other's beautiful energy and strength. So I definitely would say when I'm surrounded by other women is when I feel the most powerful, because it's just seeing a reflection of myself in different kinds of people, different forms, different skin tones, heights, shapes, colors, all of that. That's definitely when I feel my best, the most heightened, because then I kind of just get to be surrounded by people who provide me with a lot of motivation, a lot of purpose, and a lot of gratitude for myself, for being a woman, for being a Black woman, which is two things that are even harder than, just anything simplified, being a woman and then being a Black woman. So to even be more specific, when I'm surrounded by other Black women, it's definitely when I feel my most powerful, because I just feel like I'm surrounded by myself times 10. So that's it for me. I think I feel the most powerful when I have the time to practice self-care. And this can happen in two ways, maybe just on a lazy Saturday or something, but even more importantly, during the week, I know what my schedule is going to be like. So when I'm able to arrange time to set aside and say, I'm going to do this and, get my nails done or do my eyebrows or whatever it is, I just feel so much better. And also when I build a routine of self-care, I feel like once I start my day, I just feel so much more positive about what I'm about to achieve. So yes, definitely looking good, correlates with like feeling good and, you know, performing at my best self.
Yes, I definitely do feel responsible for taking action on women's issues because one, I am a woman, but more importantly, and I'll continue to say this, I have 2 daughters, and every action or any policy that is implemented now is definitely going to impact their future. So any issue that I can support and or stand against when it comes to women, I will do my best to do so.
Absolutely feel passionate about taking action on women's issues, and I will say, just to add another layer on that, taking action on Black women's issues, because, you know, not only are we women, and that's one way in which we're marginalized, but we're also marginalized because we're Black. So that, you know, cross marginality is really, really crucial, especially, you know, in the workplace or in any social setting. Being able to connect with other Black women who understand the struggle that you're going through just creates a better platform for advocacy, being able to advocate for each other, and also being able to pull other Black women who are not in the room with us into that room.
One struggle I face, and I think I continuously face, and unfortunately will face for some time, I believe, is the struggle to continuously prove myself as a woman who's capable, especially in the professional space. There's always the status quo of like you're being an angry Black woman, when the truth is like you are just standing for what you believe in, but more so you're just being a leader. There's always that challenge, but however, I think studies have shown, and I want to shout out a company by the name of Target in the United States, which they did a piece on women, and they studied that Black women specifically who manage their stores tend to have more sales, but more importantly, they have more members on your team who stay. And it just goes to show, like, we meaning women of color, but women in general, are more natural leaders. However, as a woman of color, sometimes you have to continuously prove yourself. And that's a struggle that I often find myself in, because I'm often the youngest person in the room, but more importantly, the only woman in the room. And then on top of that, being a woman of color. And you always have to prove yourself. You just have to have that confidence that you are capable. Erase the idea of imposter syndrome, because it's not a thing, because you're in that space because you were capable and you worked your way towards it.